Welcome back to Naruto Anime Review Part 15. This one, like I had promised 2 episodes back, that we'll talk about the recent episode, new one. This one, I am going to talk about the newest episode that aired today. Plus, I'm going to talk about the first 7 OVAs for Naruto Shippuden. Let's start with the new episode. This one is Steam and Food Pills. Yeah, that's seriously the name of this episode. And this episode is focused on a handful of characters in the show. Tamari shows up in this basically, it's a big focus on Shikamaru, but it's also a focus on Ino and Sakura, and they still have this thing where they're still trying to decide what they're going to get Naruto and Hinata as a congratulatory gift for their upcoming wedding. Shikamaru wants to get them a honeymoon, which I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea for him to do. And he wanted a woman's perspective. He thought basically he can ask Ino for advice. And they just happened to run into Tamari, who just had to be in town for another round of the Chūnin exams, which I'm like, okay. Yeah, and after Choji sort of I don't know if it's manipulating them or just happened to say the right things. Well, Shikamaru is just nervous when he's around Tamari. Which, it's surprising though. This is actually the first time I have ever seen Tamari ever blush in the show, because she's never blushed in front of Shikamaru before. And they just happen to run into each other while they are just walking down the street. And she just happened to go with them while he's looking for a honeymoon thing. She thinks it's for them. No, it's for Naruto and Hinata. When she finds out later it's for Naruto and Hinata, she basically takes out her fan and just basically beats the crap out of him. Probably worse than she's ever done before. Which I'm like, okay, I don't get why he couldn't tell her sooner. But at least I got a chance to hang out with her throughout most of the episode. Like, it was kind of like going on a date while also looking for a gift for Naruto and Hinata. And I thought they would make a physical appearance in the episode. Nope. No Naruto and Hinata. The whole episode, the teaser actually lied. They did not make a physical appearance. There was an allusion to them in the episode, but actual physical appearance? Nope. No physical appearance at all. I forgot to mention Kiba and Shino, what their new looks are. Kiba looks like a greaser now with facial hair, and Shino does not look much different, except he stopped wearing his hood. Not really much difference when it comes to him. But no, he does not appear in this episode at all. There's a little bit of focus on Choji, but mainly it's a focus on 4 characters. At least 3 characters. Shikamaru, Choji, Ino. Shikamaru, Ino, and Sakura. Of course, Ino and Sakura basically thinking that Ino wants to get them a picture frame for the wedding present. I'm like, that's not a bad idea for her to get. And Sakura just happened to be in the same shop. I'm like, just by sheer coincidence. And they just argue so much. They apparently got so annoying the customers that they apparently got kicked out of the shop. I'm like, people argue in stores all the time. There's nothing particularly wrong with this. Why? Because her voice was too loud? Why? It's an antique shop. So what? Who gives a damn? And this guy did not seem like he was the manager. He seemed like he was basically one of the employees. And then he just sort of kicks them out of the store. And then Choji comes up, and then they come up, and then Ino brings up an unrelated subject about how Sakura has got a smaller chest than she does, which is true. You can tell by looking at them. Yeah. And they start fighting over that. At least not fighting over Sasuke anymore. Yeah, and Sasuke's never brought up in this episode at all. Not even Sai. Yeah, that is a weird thing. It's like they haven't shown exactly what Sai is going to give Naruto Hinata. I will talk about who's going to be focused on in the next episode, though. But yeah, the episode ends with, well, actually, Ino and Sakura decided to, well, Choji decides to put to a test to test their femininity, and no, it's not over their chest size. He decides, who is the best cook? I think he wanted to make some food. I think he wanted to make food for him. So what do they make? Food pills. No, I've never tried food pills. I don't even know if food pills even exist in real life, but they look like basically stuffed meatballs. That's the way they look to me in the show. Either that, or they look like some kind of special cookie. That's just the way they look, and they always look black. That's just the way they are. Now, Sakura, when she first did food pills in the show, here's the weird thing. They were awful, according to basically people who tried them. Heck, even Sakura's like, no, these things are good. And then she tries one of them and she realizes how awful they are. Yeah, but this time somehow she was able to get it done correctly. And somehow Choji is able to fall over after eating so much good stuff. And then they came up with this strange idea at the end where basically both of them will go get a gift themselves, go get together. Okay. Why not? Not a bad idea. And of course, at the end you have it's where Aruka is at the Uruchi ramen shop, which I'm thinking every time I've seen this ramen shop show up in the show, usually Naruto is there. This is the first time I've seen in this particular season whenever this ramen shop has shown up and there's no Naruto in sight, which is weird because usually whenever they show the shop, Naruto is always eating ramen there. But yeah, it's actually a little bit better of an episode than it was for the previous one because it wasn't like too dumb like the last episode was, but it was still kind of enjoyable. But the next episode is basically what Gaara. It's going to be focused on what Gaara is going to get Naruto and Hinata for their wedding, which this actually and Killer Bee is going to show up in the next episode. So I'm thinking, wow, Killer Bee. This is actually the first time I've actually seen Killer Bee in this season. Chronologically, this is the first time Killer Bee's been seen in the anime. Chronologically, since the film The Last, which he did show up in that film. That was probably the only film he's ever shown up in. Actually, that's actually one of two films he's shown up in because he also showed up in Blood Prison as well. So yeah, chronologically, first time since The Last, and it's gonna be great to see Killer Bee. I've always liked Killer Bee. He's an awesome character. But I'm like, what the heck is he doing in the Hidden Leaf Village? I mean, did he get word about Naruto and Hinata's wedding? I would not be surprised, though, if Naruto... I mean, Naruto knows that he should remember to not forget to invite Killer Bee to his wedding. And same thing with Gaara, and Kankuro and Temri is back in the next episode as well. It looks like that Rock Lee and Tenten are back as well. And I don't... And from what I can tell from the teaser, it looks like that Gaara does not know about the fact that Naruto got engaged. I'm sure he's going to get a surprised look on his face. I'm sure. But it's basically... next episode is going to be called Kazakagi's Gift. So, this one should be interesting. A little more interesting than this one, but at least this one was a little more tolerable than last week's episodes. Yeah, well, they focused on one on Aruka, a character I'm not really a fan of. Of course, the other episode focused on Rock Lee and Tenten. At least that one was a little more interesting. This one I thought was a little more better because Shikamaru, when I focus on him, is always interesting. Though I thought it was cute, basically, when it looked like that Tamaru and Shikamaru looked like they were actually on an actual date. Though he did say that he would take her out to a bite to eat. He hasn't done it yet. But, why in the world at this point would they be doing another round of Chūnin exams? Maybe it's been 2 years? Who the heck knows? But yeah, I am looking forward to next week's episode. This one, I'm looking forward to this one a little bit more to this one because it's Gaara finally showing up in this season. I mean, he did show up in a flashback. Excuse me. In the previous arc, but at least he's making a physical appearance. But I'm looking forward to that one, definitely. At least Tamaru is basically on point. Though it was weird, though, that half the time in the episode she was either silent or just very nervous around Shikamaru, which is odd for her because she's never done this in the show before. But I think she's realizing, though, that she's actually in love with Shikamaru. That's just my personal theory anyways. And, of course, Choji probably noticing Shikamaru has a thing for Tamari. I'm sure that... Here's the thing. I think Choji and Ino know that in their... They believe and they understand the fact that Shikamaru has a thing for Tamari. They don't have a problem with it, from what I can tell. And they know that they can tell that Shikamaru is in love with Tamari. But as far as I can tell, they've never confessed their feelings to each other. Maybe it will happen over the next few episodes. Maybe. Who the heck knows? But, interesting episode nonetheless. But, now on to the OVAs. First one is Shippū Gakuen Den. This one was a weird one. This one's about 10 minutes. It's basically, it's like, what if basically, this is like an alternate universe in a way, where it's basically kind of like a manga with a voiceover. And it's kind of like the events of the Naruto manga retold what looks like to be in the real world, where Naruto is a transfer student, along with another person I'll get to in a minute. Ino, Sakura, and Hinata are actually close friends, and they all wear the sailor outfits, basically like the real-life Japan high school. And the Hidden Leaf is actually the high school, which is interesting. Ten is a tomboy. Rock Lee is here too. Pretty much everybody's there, except for Mike Guy. There's no mention of what Mike Guy is up to in this universe. Tsunade is the principal of the school, and she's still a gambler. Kakashi's one of the teachers. And one thing I did like, though, this one I thought was really interesting, is the fact they actually show what looked like to be, looks like their version of Part 1, where in that one, Hinata and Naruto, they go on a date and look like they were going to, when Naruto fell over and Hinata fell on top of him, it kind of looked like they were going to make out, but nope. But in this one, Hinata was the one, from what I can tell, it looks like Hinata was the one who asked Naruto on a date. Which, okay, that's actually interesting. Though, basically, Naruto is acting kind of similar to how he was in the previous universe, the regular one. Though he actually wears his coat a lot like it's a cape. And his coat still has a little swirly thing on the back like he does in the regular universe. Sasuke is, almost all the characters are pretty much in character. Though Naruto has it where he beats up everybody in the school, and he even basically challenged Tenten to a fight, which was weird that he challenged her to a fight. But basically, he beat up everybody. Yeah, he battled Sasuke, and yes, they did have the strange thing where Sasuke and Naruto kissed. That was really stupid. Heck, even the manga was stupid. It was a complete accident that it happened, just like in the anime and the manga. Yep. And of course, oh yeah, Orochimaru's in this one too. And he's a transvestite. No joke, he is. And he basically has a thing for Sasuke. Weird. And they actually have a fight on the high school roof. And of course, Sai shows up, and it's similar circumstances. And one thing I really did like, though, was the fact that you had it where Sakura, Ino, and Hinata basically were attacked by a gang, and then Naruto comes in and saves them. Though, like typical Japanese stuff, basically they had it where they lift up their skirts. And they said, don't talk about that. But basically, and of course the whole school showed up, all the guys showed up, basically Naruto wanted to beat up in school, beat up in fights, and they all helped them out, and they defeated the gang, basically. And apparently the Akatsuki is basically, in this universe, is basically like the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. That's simply what they are. And Naruto wants to be like them for some reason, which is weird. But it's interesting OVAs to watch, and I highly recommend it. Okay. Next one is Naruto Crossroads. Yeah. This one I thought was weird. From the point of the fact that the animation was completely different than how it was normally depicted in the show, because they used video game graphics for this one. Basically, the graphics for the original Xbox. Yeah, they are going after some people, and one of them is possessed by Orochimaru, which Sasuke knows nothing about. And apparently this takes place after their first A-rank mission. Excuse me. It's implied this thing is canon, but it's never officially definite. It apparently looks like the whole thing was just a flashback. It's a okay one. And of course you have it where also Sakura gets kidnapped and Sasuke and Naruto have to go and rescue her. Stuff like that. It does kind of feel like, even though that this came out as part of the Shippuden era of OVAs, but it felt like this one could have came out during the... I haven't watched the the original ones yet, for the OVAs for the original Naruto show, but this is an okay one. And that was the second one. The third one, Genie and the Three Wishes. The only OVA to star all 12 Genie from Naruto. All 12 of them. And they all fight over a Genie bottle. And here's the thing, Naruto is the one who finds it. Lets Genie out, and he's like, and Sakura's like, just ignore him. And of course, that Naruto uses the first two wishes, and everybody ends up fighting over. Of course, and Naruto runs to the woods with the bottle, basically because he wants that final wish for himself. And mostly everybody goes after Naruto except for Choji, Shikamaru, and Hinata. They are the only three who don't. And when Hinata and everybody gets a chance to get their hands on the bottle. Even Hinata gets a chance to get hands on it, and she doesn't want to use the thing at all. And of course, she still has the thing where she has her crush on Naruto. And she doesn't like the fact everybody's fighting over this bottle. She wants to smash it, then she's stopped by Shikamaru's Shadow Possession. And then, pretty much, they all take everybody and they all wish for more wishes. But before they can do that, Kakashi comes back. Of course, he had gone off to get a drink anyways from the convenience store. And he asked for change. He got change, and that the guy disappeared for another 1,000 years. And I'm like, everyone's like, I'm surprised no one wants to go beat up Kakashi for stealing the last wish, even though Naruto stole the first two wishes. I thought this one was a bit funny, but it was still interesting nonetheless. Naruto X UT. This is just kind of an alternate take on the final battle, the rematch between Sasuke and Naruto. The only difference is it kind of feels like this one was a little bit earlier of a battle, but this is probably the only one where Naruto gets a chance to touch Sakura's face. And because Sakura's crying, and of course everybody they fight, and it's kind of like a montage of all their various fights over the course of the series. It's a pretty good OVA to watch. Next one is Chūnin Exam on Fire, Naruto versus Konohamaru. It's just Naruto and Konohamaru fighting the Chūnin exams their match ends when Naruto is disqualified for using his sage powers, which apparently he missed hearing that because he was arguing with Konohamaru. I'm like, yeah, he went into a sage, but he didn't do anything at all with it. He just went into it, and all of a sudden, that's the reason why he got disqualified. And somehow Konohamaru is made a Chūnin. Oh yeah, and this is taking place prior to the Fourth Great Witness War actually officially breaking out. It's a weird one per se, and of course, it's in the final exam is taking place in the Sand Village. Oh yeah, and this isn't a regular. This one just comes completely out of nowhere, just to get more people fighting in the war. Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations OVA, Hashirama Soji versus Manager Uchiha. It's a bit of more. It's basically showcasing their epic battle and final vow at a little more detail. It's a quick OVA. It's only about 5 minutes. That's really all it is. Just showing their epic fight they had, which was seen in the show, but this was a little more expansion on it. Last but not least, I'm saving the last one when I review Boruto. Naruto Shippuden Sunny Side Battle. Basically, what happens in this one? Itachi, who somehow is alive, Oh, I'll get into a minute basically why he's alive. Apparently, he's back in the Hidden Leaf Village. Oh yeah, he's wearing his Akatsuki uniform, and Sasuke, when you see him, he's wearing his Part 2 attire. Apparently, he spends the whole thing trying to make sunny-side-up eggs for Sasuke. That's really what he does. And he uses up a whole carton while trying to do this, and eventually he finally gets it right, and Sasuke's like, yeah, it's good, I've had better. And apparently the whole thing is a dream, and they're about to go off to battle, which is weird. Yeah, that's one thing about these OVAs. They're just plain weird. The only really good one I can probably say of all these that was actually kind of interesting was the Chūnin Exam on Fire, Naruto XD, and the first one. Those I thought were really interesting. The rest were just plain weird or just kind of funny. But these were good nonetheless. So that's really it. I haven't watched the original OVAs from the first show yet, so I'll eventually watch those soon. But, yeah, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for part 16, where I talk about next week's episode. Kazakagi's Gift. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.